you want to invite to your next slumber party Jason, Freddy, Michael, or just maybe the Driller Killer.
Sleep shirts with a flair for horror. Rock it out with Freddy, chill out with Jason, and pig out with Michael. 90 nightmares, add some spare to your next slumber party.
Announcing Nighty Nightmares sleep shirts, exclusively available at deaditesondeck.com.
Take out the trash. Why? There might be something delicious in all that slop. Put out the air fresheners. Place a clothespin on your nose. Let's dig into the cream of the crop. Celluloid trash. It stinks, but we must watch. Celluloid trash. It stinks, but we must watch.
Hey, gang, and welcome to yet another edition of Celluloid Trash. And here in a little bit, we are going to be talking about Evil Spawn, which I don't have a physical copy of, and this little gem, the Garbage Pail Kids movie. Both of these films from 1987, way back in 1987, folks. And we're going to get to both of these films here in just a little bit. But I don't know what that is on my nose. It's probably just it's probably something I shouldn't be scratching at. But anyway, sorry, folks. I always get on camera and then I see, all the flaws. And hopefully you guys won't be paying as much attention to me as you would me talking about these movies here in a little bit. But want to get some housekeeping stuff out of the way here before we get to talking about these movies. First off, I think that Cannon Fodder has run its course. And I think that I have covered all the movies from the Golden Globus era of Cannon Fodder that people are going to be interested in. There were, ebbs and flows with that series. And, I don't like to stop before I've gone through all the movies. However, upon looking at the rest of the movies from my list, I just don't think that the people that come to my channel and watch my stuff are going to be much interested in them. I think we've covered, the big ones, the big, horror films and action films and stuff like that. Now, there may have been a few more that, were possibly would be of interest to somebody. but I watch and see, who watches it, how many people watch it live, how many people watch it later. And I just don't see the sense in continuing if the viewership isn't there for a particular series, right? So, celluloid trash still seems to be, semi popular. They're all messed up, seems to be popular. Um, so I've opted to, there will be no more cannon fodders. So we're going to be, trying different things and, uh, like they said in pieces, we're just trying on uh, clothes without labels, you know. So I'm basically, I will put something out there, and if it seems to take off, I will continue with it for the duration. If it doesn't, I will back up and punt and try something else. So just wanted to let you guys know about that. Um, tomorrow night, tomorrow evening, I won't be having a stream right now. At the last Tuesday of the month, Horror Fandom, It's a Way of Life, will return. Hopefully, I'll be able, to have Chris on there at that point in time. And we're going to be talking about all things horror collecting. But, if there's somebody else that wants to join us, or if you just want to hang out in the chat and, talk about things that you collect, horror related, or maybe not even horror related. If you want to talk about something that you collect that maybe it's not horror collecting per se, but you wanted to get on here and talk about it, hey, I'm not going to say no, So, even though it is about horror fandom in general, um, nothing says that we can't think outside the box with it, right? Um, I will not be doing a watch along this weekend. Normally I would. Um, but Steve and I are going to the Skyline Drive-In up in Indiana this weekend, this Saturday, when I would normally be doing a watch along. So the watch along, you've got a little bit longer to vote on it. I think Black Roses is still in the lead, but there's still time to vote because I'm not having a watch along until the end of the month. Um, what else do we have coming up? We'll be having another Evil Dead Chicks Slasher Fest coming up September 5th, which, as you guys and gals know that have watched these, they're usually the first Friday of every month. And just a little viewer discretion, folks. This one is going to be a little rougher than some of the others, right? So just, if you are watching along with these movies, first of all, if you've never seen these movies, hey, do your homework, folks. Look into it, because we're going to be viewing Last House on the Left, the original Last House on the Left, and the original I Spit on Your Grave. These are not easy watches, folks. And I just wanted to make people aware so that it's basically, I don't want to say the R word on here, because it taken out of context, somebody may be thinking, I'm glorifying it or something. The YouTube algorithms pick up on it, and all hell breaks loose, right? So it's basically assault and revenge. That's what these two films are about. In the case of Last House on the Left, the girl's parents take the revenge. In the case of I Spit on Your Grave, the woman who is assaulted takes her revenge on her attackers. So just like I said, do your homework, please, please don't. If you're watching these films that night, don't have your kids around. If you've got kids, these are not films for children. Okay, these. And in some cases, they might not even be films for adults. And you might be saying, well, gee, Dana, are we supposed to be having fun at these? Why are you showing these? Well, they're an example of films that would have been shown at a drive-in and in places like New York City in the grindhouses. So they are definitely examples of the type of films that you might possibly see at a drive-in. So, or back in the day at a drive-in. So, I'm warning in advance. I will have a viewer discretion before we get started, so that nobody can say that they weren't warned. Okay, I don't want anybody walking into this blindly. So, just wanted to get that out there. Um, Also, I'm going to be having an It Follows on Wednesday. That's going to take the place of Cannon Fodder um, for this week, anyway. And I'm going to be talking about It Follows. This was a film that Menelek picked. I haven't seen Menelek in for a while, but I want to thank him once again for the very generous super chat. And for him picking a movie. And so I'm going to be talking about It Follows on Wednesday. And Thursday will be another They're All Messed Up, and we're going to be talking about Terror at the Red Wolf Inn and Three on a Meat Hook. Folks, I'm finally going to watch Three on a Meat Hook, part of which, maybe all of which, was filmed in Louisville, where I live now. Friday, I'm not sure as far as what will be going on, if there will be a Friday Foolish or what will be going on. I got to get back with Candace and see, what we can come up with. If Friday Foolish doesn't happen, then I'll try to slide something else in its place. So that you guys and gals actually, have something you can, watch on Friday. I also want to remind you guys and gals, for those of you that saw the 90 Nightmares commercial or a little promo I did, or maybe you haven't even heard me talk about it. Maybe you haven't been on here and heard me talk about this. I am offering sleep shirts primarily for women, but I'm not going to say that men can't get sleep shirts or they can't buy their lady a sleep shirt. I don't have them up on the deaditesondeck.com horror shop, at deaditesondeck.com. Again, tell them Poe sent you if you visit. But you can still get one of these 90 Nightmares sleep shirts right now. And I'm going to put my PayPal email address. All you got to do is send $30 plus $6 shipping. And that's if you buy one sleep shirt or 10. It's flat rate of $6 shipping. You can't get that very many places, right? So I have all the designs that are shown in the promo. If you didn't get to see the promo, it is on the channel, okay? So I have one with the Driller Killer. I have one with Jason. I have one with Freddy. I have one with Michael Myers. And we have a bonus one that is Ozzy Osbourne related. And all of these say, like the Ozzy one says, Ozzy came to my slumber party. Driller Killer one says, Driller Killer came to my slumber party. And I can actually, because the Ozzy Osbourne one is not, it's not shown in the promo reel. But you can get it for $30 plus $6 shipping. Okay. if you are at all interested in that. Okay. So, um, all you got to do is send $30 plus $6 shipping to my PayPal email address. And please include your name, your mailing address. Right now, they only come in one color, which is the pink. If you saw my 90 Nightmares Slumber Party Massacre, you saw me actually wearing mine with the driller killer on it. Okay. And if you didn't get to, spend time with me and Candace a little bit later that night, you can go back and watch it on the replay and see. I want to see what this sleep shirt actually looked like. But they're pink with heather gray sleeves right now. And so, because they are one color, all I would need is your name, your mailing address, and the size that you need. Okay. I also have some t-shirts that are out, or not on the site yet, but you can get them. I have Spooky Dog and Sebastian meet. Ozzy Osbourne is one of them. Robert England is another one, and there's more coming soon. But you can get those for $20 plus $6 shipping and handling. Again, that is $6 flat rate shipping, whether you buy one shirt or 10, okay, or 5 or whatever. And for those, I would need your name, your mailing address, the colors you want. I can do all colors now, folks, even black. Okay. So if you want, for instance, Ozzy Osbourne, Spooky Dog and Sebastian meet Ozzy Osbourne, and you want it on black, I can do that. Okay. I have a process in place where I can now do that and still do the sublimation. Also, yeah, did I say Robert England? Robert England as well is available right now. And just be sure to send your name, your mailing address, your color choice, and size that you need. Okay. So I had a bunch of people and I lost them all talking about this stuff. I'm going to go ahead before I lose my last two people, and I'm going to go ahead and start talking about these movies. Now, as I said a little bit earlier, I don't have a physical copy of Evil Spawn, but I did watch it last night. I don't know if I've ever seen it before. I don't think I have. Fred Olen Ray was attached to it, but he was not the director for it. The director was a guy named Kenneth J. Hall. And Cleve Hall, which apparently is Kenneth Hall's relative, I believe, did the special effects for this. And the tagline is tonight she will love again and kill again. And folks, let me tell you, this, usually movies that have Fred Olen Ray attached to them are at least entertaining, folks. But here's one big problem with this movie. It has Bobby Brzee or Breezy or however you pronounce her name, which some people might say, well, holy cow, I don't even know who that is. She was also in Mausoleum, which, I noticed her and I saw her and I was like, well, maybe maybe her acting has improved by the time she was in this. Nope, sorry. And she's also in a movie called Armed Response. She's in the first Ghoulies as a temptress. She is also on The Adventures of Tara. I guess the last movie she was in 1995, playing Ava Sterling in Prima Donnas. But folks, she's not a good actress by any stretch of the imagination. She's she's just awful, folks, just awful. And I'm sorry, if I don't even know if she's still alive. If she's not, I feel bad for talking about her this way. But I mean, I gotta be totally honest with you folks. Bless her heart, she's not a good actress. But this concerns, I mean, but nobody's really that good. John Carradine's in this. But I think John Carradine was just trying to get a paycheck. I really do, because I'm like, what, John Carradine, buddy, what in the world are you doing in this crazy movie? But he's in it for a very short time as a scientist who apparently they brought these microbes or something back from outer space. And when you inject someone with them, it turns them into a creature. And Bobby Breezy or Breezy or how you pronounce her name turns into an insect-like creature, like very much like what you see on the front of this. It looks like a pumped up fly or something. But when they really show her, it kind of looks like a what would you call it? Gosh, I can't even think. Can't even think, folks. But it's an insect looking creature, right? And at the beginning of the movie, I thought, well, this is going to be pretty good because this guy gets his arm ripped off by another guy who was injected by this evil woman, but she's not a good actress either. Like I said, I don't know that there is a good actor or actress in this entire film, except John Carradine, and he's not on there very long, folks. So if you're wanting to see a whole lot of John Carradine, you're not going to see it in Evil Spawn. But a guy gets his arm torn off, and I was like, okay, this is promising, But then you go for a long stretch where it's just Bobby Brzee just mugging it up to the camera and over exaggerating every word she says. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do we have to deal with this anymore? And just looking at herself in the mirror, just so obsessed with her looks and so obsessed with staying young and all that stuff. And it was almost like watching Mausoleum all over again. But the good thing about Mausoleum was her husband was played by Marjo Joyner, the guy that used to be a boy preacher back in the day when he was a kid. And then he broke out of that and had a few acting gigs. So that was a highlight of Mausoleum. Bobby Brzee definitely was not the highlight of that film. She was not the highlight of this film. And, she's given these injections by that weird woman that injected the guy at the beginning that tore the other guy's arm off. She brings a couple of injections to Bobby Brzee's character and tells her, you can preserve being young. Hey, Gory Tiger, you can preserve being young this way. So at first she says, no, I'm not going to do it. Well, the woman leaves the two needles. They look like insulin needles, but they evidently got these microbes in them. And she just can't take it anymore because she gets turned down for job after job after job. And apparently she used to be real beautiful and everybody wanted her in their movies. And now they don't. Yes, Corey Tiger, I am almost up to 1,000. I'm almost scared to say anything because it seems like every time I mention that, some people say, well, I think I'm going to take my subscription away, which I don't know why. I don't know why. Either that or YouTube screws with me. I don't know why people would do that because I generally don't pay attention to who or what subscribes to my channel. Um, if you're enjoying the content, fantastic. If you're not, nobody has to know that you're subscribed. But people probably say, "Well, I don't want to be subscribed to something I don't even watch." But anyway, yes, Gory Tiger, thank you for saying that. Well, yeah, I'm not overly confident, but I'm pretty confident that eventually I'll get there. But thank you so much. I appreciate that. Um, so she can't stand it anymore. She's got to inject herself with this stuff, and then she gets really sick and vomits this white stuff up, and then she turns into this creature and attacks people. But it's like, I don't know. She's younger after the first time, but then they don't talk about it anymore. She just turns into the creature and attacks people. After that, it's like she gets turned down for a job because doesn't have dark hair and she's not 25. So what I thought was going to happen is she was going to kill her assistant because her assistant was young, beautiful, had the dark hair that they wanted for this movie. She wanted to play some goddess in a movie, and they were like, "No, you're too damn old, and you don't have the right color hair, right?" So I thought, well, she's going to kill her assistant, and then she's going to take on some of the traits of her. No, no, they just kept on, and then I just got, thankfully it was only an hour and 15 minutes long because I got bored with it really quickly. Sorry, Fred Owen Ray, that you were, you were attached to this. And usually I get some sort of enjoyment out of Fred Owen Ray stuff. So if this wasn't even, to me, it wasn't even fun on an exaggerated level. Like, there wasn't enough gore. It started out promising with the guy getting his arm ripped off, and then it was like, no, it just fell flat on a lot of levels. And so I'm going to go ahead and give it a rating based on the Deadites rating scale. And I'm going to give it 3 Deadites out of 5. And that's the best I can do, folks. Excuse me. That's the best I can do, folks. Because this movie just didn't have enough of what I need to keep me entertained. I watched it, and I finished watching it because I wanted to cover it for this stream. But I really can't honestly recommend it to anybody. But if you are interested in watching, I'm not going to tell anybody not to watch it because people are going to watch it regardless of, in fact, sometimes when people say, "Ooh, it was bad," that makes people want, including me, when other people say something, "Oh, it's awful, it's bad," that just makes me want to go watch it. But just word of warning, that's what I thought about it. And you can watch it on Look Movie 2 for free because that's how I watched it last night. I tried to find it on YouTube. I tried the other usual suspects, including Tubi, and could not find it. But on Look Movie 2, you can watch it. Okay. So that's Evil Spawn. And the next one, like I said, I had my old DVD that I got back in the day for the Garbage Pail Kids movie. Okay, as far as acting on this, I think Mackenzie Aston is the best actor in this, and he's a kid at this point in time. I mean, most of the people were just so awful in this. The character of the captain now, Mackenzie Aston plays Dodger, and he hangs around with Anthony Newley's character, who is Captain Manini or something like that, who owns an antique shop. And in the antique shop are the Garbage Pail Kids in a actual garbage can. Well, Dodger lets them out, and Captain Manini is like, "You let them out," and like if I could have watched the Garbage Pail Kids and Mackenzie Aston and Anthony Newley from Doctor Dolittle, um, it might have been better. But you had this girl playing the character Tangerine. She's just awful, awful, awful. And I think that may have been Katie Barberi, and she was in Not Quite Human too. Um, but I'm like, oh my gosh. But the Garbage Pail Kids were fun. It was fun to go back and revisit this. It is considered a retro cult classic. So it's overblown, but the Garbage Pail Kids were funny. I remembered collecting the Garbage Pail Kids cards back in the day. And this does not include all of the Garbage Pail Kids. There'd probably be no way that they could do that. So you've got Alligator, you've got Wendy William, I believe, and he passes gas all the time. And is it Valerie Vomit? So you've got Messy Tessie, Foul Phil, Valerie Vomit. Well, you got Greaser Greg or something like that too, and I did, like I said, I did enjoy them. Revisiting with the Garbage Pail Kids, because that was something from my youth. And that is probably something from a lot of your guys and gals that come to my channel, y'all's youth as well. So there's quite a bit of nostalgia for this. So Mackenzie Aston's character of Dodger is a kid that gets picked on by these much older kids. I don't know why they're always after him, but go figure. They're always wanting to beat up on him, turn him upside down, and get money from him. I didn't really understand. Did they owe him money? Did he owe them money or what? And why weren't they out, stealing cars or doing something like that? They were thugs. Why didn't they just go do that? Go in a back alley or something and take drugs or what? I don't understand why they kept showing up. And the stupid Tangerine girl just kept hanging around them. And she used poor Dodger to have her fashion show. And she used the Garbage Pail Kids. And then her buddies go and kidnap the Garbage Pail Kids and take them to the state home for the ugly. And they get put into a cage that says "too gross" on the outside of it. But there's also they've got Santa Claus in there for being too fat. They've got some guy that's too hairy. They've got a clown that's too silly, and it just goes on and on and on. And I know that sounds kind of goofy, but when they lock the Garbage Pail Kids up for being too gross in the state home for the ugly, it is kind of sad. And of course, you have Dodger crying. Where did you take them? What did you do with them? So the Garbage Pail Kids kind of reach that status of, like when an animal, something that's done to an animal in a film, or you're watching something like Charlotte's Web, where Charlotte is trying to protect Wilbur from becoming bacon and sausage and stuff like that. It just, it probably pulled at my heartstrings more when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, I didn't notice things like bad acting as much as I do now. And, I was all of 11 years old when this came out. So there you go. Um, so there may have been some of you that are a little younger, a little older, that watch this. Um, and I did enjoy going back and watching it. But you know, when you see characters or you see actors and actresses like Katie Barberi, and they're just so off. Ultimately, they're so awfully bad. You're like, oh my gosh, you know, it almost ruins it for you. But then when in the scenes that they're not in, when you're focusing more on the Garbage Pail Kids themselves, or Captain Manini, or Dodger, or something like that, it's much better, right? So I'm gonna give this one 4 deadites out of 5 because of the Garbage Pail Kids and Dodger and Captain Manini. The other stuff I could have took it or left it, right? Including a lot of the other actors and actresses in the film. I'm not sure where you could watch Garbage Pail Kids for free because I didn't really go around looking. You may be able to find it, maybe on YouTube, possibly on Tubi. You know, check the usual suspects, right? I should have, you know, I feel bad that I didn't actually go and try to find out where you could watch it for free. But I know that a lot of people have nostalgia for the Garbage Pail Kids movie. And so, you know, if you can find a copy of it to watch for free, if you don't own a copy, then I say go for it, right? Pull out your old Garbage Pail Kid cards if you still got any, and, you know, sang along to the end song about the Garbage Pail Kids and all that stuff. Just go back to a more, you know, innocent time. It was definitely a more innocent time for me back when I was 11 years old, folks. So I guess that is all about the movies. But before I, you know, do my little spiel and get off of here for the night, I did want to tell you guys and gals ways that you can support me in the channel and it won't cost you a dime. That's always great, right? So one of the ways is if you're enjoying the content I'm putting out, whether it's live streams or videos or whatever, even if you don't watch them live, if you go back and watch them on the replay, please subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? I promise I'm not going to come and try to come to your house and try to minister to you. I'm not going to try to sell you cookies and candy bars. I might try to sell you some t-shirts on here, or sleep shirts, or, you know, hats and candles and blended teas and all that good stuff. But I'm not going to come and bother you, right? I usually advertise that stuff on here, you know. Another way is to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the content I've got coming out. I know sometimes my times are a little bit erratic, and for that I do apologize. But sometimes I think I'm going to have time to watch both movies, and it ends up being extended a little bit. I had to extend this one to 8:45 so that I would have time to finish up rewatching the Garbage Pail Kids. But if you hit that notification bell, you won't miss the content that I've got upcoming that I'm putting out. If you are really liking a particular stream or a particular video that I put out, please hit that like button. All of these things will help get me up in the algorithms of YouTube. And also, here's something else you can do that won't cost you a dime, won't cost the person you tell about my channel a dime. And that is to share with friends and family members that you think would enjoy the content that I'm putting out. Okay? And like I said, all of these things will get me up into the algorithms of YouTube and help me to get to that next milestone of 1,000 subscribers. And again, you guys and gals, some of y'all out there might be saying, well, what's 1,000 subscribers now? That ain't nothing. Well, it is to me. I feel like for the most part, I built my channel from the ground up, and I'm proud of that. And I hope I don't lose anybody for saying that, because it seems like people feel like they want to knock me off my high horse. I'm not on a high horse, I promise, because I always lose one or two, maybe three people every time I talk about it. I try to promote my channel just like anybody else would. But if I can get to 1,000 subscribers, me and Candace are going to do probably on an upcoming episode of Friday Foolish, some really cool cosplay. I'm going to be Cheryl from The Evil Dead, and Candace is going to be Mrs. Roper from Three's Company. So if you want to see us do that really cool cosplay, share with everybody that you know that you think would like this content I'm putting out. Let them know, hey, I think you might like this chick, this Evil Dead chick from Deadites on Deck on YouTube. And all you got to do is put hold on here, at Evil Dead Chick 1976, and you should be able to find my channel. Okay. So I know it's called Deadites on Deck, but the channel handle is Evil Dead Chick, or at Evil Dead Chick 1976. Okay. All right. So just wanted to put that out there once again. Hey, Uncle Bill. Well, I was talking about Evil Spawn and the Garbage Pail Kids movie, but I'm already done talking about that. But you can go back and watch it on the replay, Uncle Bill. But I thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. I appreciate you and Gory Tiger being in the chat tonight. I always appreciate seeing people. Oh, no. Uncle Bill's going to tell me something. He's saying, listen, Daniel. He's probably going to tell me he had to work late. I had to work late, too. Oh, I'm going to have to make the damn streams longer? Yeah, but Uncle Bill, do you think anybody's going to want to stay in here for longer than 42 minutes? Oh, I'm sorry, Uncle Bill. Well, you're subscribed to my channel, aren't you? You didn't have to work today? Oh, okay. Well, we can't blame it on work, can we? So, Uncle Bill, ain't you subscribed to my channel? I thought you were. And you could hit that notification bell, Uncle Bill. Oh, you did have to work. Okay. So, generally, okay, Uncle Bill, generally, when would you get off from work? You're subscribed? Okay, cool. Did you hit the notification bell, Uncle Bill? I'm going to bug him to death, and then he's going to say, will you leave me alone? But I do want to remind y'all that I won't be doing any stream, or I'm not planning on doing any streams or videos tomorrow night. Oh, you don't get off till 9. Well, I could push them to 9. I mean, if that would be, if you think that would be preferable to you and to other people, I don't have a problem with pushing them to 9. Generally, I do things at 8 o'clock, but I'm flexible. But what was I going to say? Oh, I probably won't be doing any live streams or videos tomorrow evening. But Wednesday, I will be doing the movie roulette for It Follows. So if you want to check that out, I do that. And So I guess that's a positive from you, Uncle Bill. Okay, well, I'll tell you, I'll try to push these things to 9 o'clock so that maybe more people can join me and watch these. So I'll probably be changing the time then on Movie Roulette for Wednesday. Thursday will be they're all messed up, and I'll be talking about Terror at the Red Wolf Inn and Three on a Meat Hook, which some, maybe all, was filmed here in Louisville, Kentucky back in the day. I don't know about Friday. Won't be any watch alongs this weekend because me and Steve are heading up to the Skyline Drive-In in Indiana, where they're going to be having a screening of Trick or Treat. And Mark Price, yes, that Mark Price that played Skippy on Family Ties, but he plays Eddie Weinbauer on Trick or Treat, the heavy metal Sammy Kerr loving teenager. So hopefully I'll get to meet him and get him to sign my Trick or Treat, my 4K that Steve got me a while back. So I guess that is all from me for tonight. So as always, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. And by the way, blast some Aussie, folks, and live out your dreams. Don't ever, ever, ever give up on your dreams. And let's all try to live in the present and not try to go back in the past, because the past is over and done, and we need to push forward into the future, the present and the future. Need to live in the now and not live in the past, right? I've been doing that for way too long, and I decided that I'm not going to do that. So I want to thank Uncle Bill and Gory Tiger again for being in here with me. In the chat, I want to thank all of you that were popping in and out and watching a little bit of it here and there. And I also want to thank those of you that will watch this on the replay. I love all you guys, and I'll see everybody next time.